Hi, this is Haley Bernhard, and this is my video on Chapter 15 on parent engagement and leadership. The first information that I noticed in our text was that unquantifiable results of family literacy programs are so underreported, which is surprising to me. Our textbook on page 224 states that parents who participate in family literacy programs experience increases in self-esteem, volunteerism, and self-sufficiency, as well as increases in support networks and stronger involvement in their children's and their own home and school lives. The results of these effects include things such as increased self-confidence, more school and community involvement, and a stronger ability to navigate institutions such as school, career, and the community in general. Because these results are unquantifiable, they're included as anecdotal or secondary evidence to a family literacy program success, rather than a massively important part of the program's function. A family literacy program is meant to improve the well-being of a family, and self-confidence, strong community ties, and more involvement between children and parents are very important results of these programs. And while I understand that it could be difficult to measure the ways that programs impact these people's lives, is it not a task worth tackling? As a color to represent this idea, and bear with me, I chose the color Japanese people call mizu and Americans call light blue. This distinction is important to me because the color in Japanese culture is a color all its own, meaning that it is a quantifiable and important enough color to have its own name, while in America it's just a modification of another color or a second-tier color. The unquantifiable results of family literacy programs remind me of this because to the people who experience positive life changes as a result of these programs, these immeasurable alterations are incredibly important and deserve to be named and identified, as Japanese people name and identify mizu. And as in American culture, with the color light blue, these changes are not seen as important as the quantifiable data from assessments and evaluations of family literacy programs. The positive correlation here is that just as Japanese people see the importance of something that American culture may overlook, so do many people see the importance of unquantifiable results of family literacy programs, and we can hopefully begin giving these results the attention and acknowledgement that they deserve. As a side note, I've put a link to an article explaining this color research in my post if anyone's interested. I also appreciated the information that the text shared about horizontal, vertical, or strong weak networks in terms of relationships between people. Strong relationships refer to people who know each other well, as in families or kin-based relationships, and these relationships are the ones most people rely upon to perform basic life functions. Weak relationships are ones between a person and community or social entities such as job connections, educational support, or community services. The symbol I relate these relationships to is a flower, in which the strong relationships are at the center of the flower where the nectar or seeds are held, and the weak relationships are the flower petals, which attract things like bees, butterflies, or other pollinators. The center of the flower holds the essential component of the flower, such as just as strong networks supply the basic human survival needs for a person or family. The petals attract outside resources, which then strengthen the flower by either spreading its pollen to other flowers or by bringing pollen from other flowers to the flower, which helps strengthen the flower. Weak relationships act in a similar way by bringing community resources, professional contacts, or services to a child or family, which can in turn strengthen the whole family. My final point that I found most interesting about Chapter 15 was the ways that the impact of family literacy programs can create so many unseen benefits for families, children, and parents. On page 234, our textbook states, little research is available in the adult education purview on the outcomes or benefits of participatory programs. As I mentioned before, the measurable benefits are often the ones most seen in research, but the unquantifiable changes to a family often go unseen or unrecognized in mainstream research. For this reason, I chose the symbol of an iceberg to represent this idea. With icebergs, a very small portion of the top of the iceberg is actually visible above the water, but a significantly larger portion remains below the water out of sight. In much the same way, a very small portion of the benefits of family literacy programs are actively studied and measured, while a huge portion of these programs go largely without remark. What this field of research needs is innovation to discover new techniques to measure and quantify the ways these programs positively impact families.